After crafting a remarkable data story and delivering it with finesse, you've braced yourself for potential objections, challenges, and questions from your audience and prepped your replies. But once the spotlight is on and a question comes from the audience, how do you handle it gracefully? Let's talk about advanced techniques for confidently handling the Q&A portion of your data presentations today on ArtScience. Hey there, I'm Kevin Hartman, Associate Professor at the University of Notre Dame and founder of the ArtScience Analytics Institute, where our mission is to make you a better data analyst. In this video, we will share a number of techniques that will help you confidently address live questions during your data presentation and keep your responses concise, assured, and engaging in all interactions. Before fielding any questions during a presentation, it is important to set expectations with your audience and key stakeholders about how questions will be handled. There are typically two approaches. The first is allowing questions at any point of the presentation. The second is asking the audience to hold their questions until the end. Ideally, the first approach should be the one you use almost all of the time. This method encourages open dialogue and helps build a dynamic, collaborative atmosphere where the audience feels heard and valued. Here's why it works. Encouraging questions during the presentation turns passive listeners into active participants. It invites curiosity and positions the presentation as a two-way conversation rather than a lecture. Addressing questions in real time prevents misunderstandings from building and keeps the audience aligned with your message. And allowing interruptions signals that you respect the audience's curiosity and care about their understanding. The second approach, having your audience hold their questions to the end, should only be used in specific situations such as very performative presentations, think TED Talks, or when time constraints are immense. Although I really want to emphasize, asking your audience to hold their questions to the end is really not advised. Delaying questions until the end can result in disengaged audiences. If you must defer questions, make it clear that their input is still valued by you. Use a statement like, "I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Please hold your questions until the end so that we can explore them together and get through this presentation content in the short time that we have together." Something like that. Regardless of which approach you've adopted for your presentation, when a question does come up during the presentation, there is a simple process for addressing it while maintaining control and keeping things on track. The secret is strategic control, opening the floor at key moments where deeper discussions can enhance your audience's understanding. Here's how you can manage the timing and subject matter of questions posed by members of your audience. Reflect on who your audience is and review your presentation in that context. From there, build a list of questions that your audience may ask during the presentation and write your responses ahead of time. With an understanding of where your audience is coming from and key responses in your head, here's how you field the questions. After delivering a point that you think needs to be discussed further, invite questions from your audience by saying, "What questions do you have about topic?" where that topic is a thing that you just discussed. We call this approach a framing prompt, and it serves two purposes. First, it gives your audience permission to ask questions. This is your prompt. It also focuses the questions on the topic at hand. This prevents questions from coming out of left field that may derail the discussion. This is your framing. After asking for questions, pause for up to 7 seconds, go ahead and count that in your head, to allow the audience time to process and muster the courage to talk. Look, as a presenter, you may feel like the weight of the audience is squarely on you, but your audience feels that weight too when they're preparing to speak up and ask a question. As you are counting to 7 in your head, hold eye contact and remain still, simply moving your head side to side to scan the audience. If no one speaks up, take that as a sign that your audience fully understands the subject matter, the topic that you just discussed, and continue with your presentation. These techniques will help you control the timing and topic of discussions that you need to maintain your speaking flow, momentum, and your confidence. When questions do arise about the topic you've established, follow these steps to handle them effectively. The framework that I'll discuss will promote engagement with the audience, show respect and understanding, and allow you to maintain control. First, invite the question. Someone has now raised their hand or shouted out that they have a question. To field that question, make direct eye contact with the audience member who's spoken Extend your arm with the palm up and say, "What's your question?" This gesture creates a safe and welcoming environment and allows the individual to ask their question while keeping you in a position of control. Give them your full attention and maintain a neutral expression for credibility. And pro tip, once they're done, do not say "good question" to avoid unequal perceptions among audience members. Look, once you recognize a question as good, you'll need to do the same for every question, lest you devalue someone in your audience. And if all the questions that you're fielding are good, are they really good? The next step is to paraphrase the question. After hearing the question, paraphrase it back to the person who asked. This confirms understanding and allows for clarification if needed. It also helps your entire audience hear the question. And perhaps most importantly, this technique buys you a few crucial seconds to formulate your response. Next, assess the question. Determine if you can answer that question immediately, if it is not relevant to the discussion, or if you're unsure of the correct answer. Defer it, but acknowledge and commit to follow up within a specified period of time. Don't try to give an uncertain answer, as you will undermine your credibility, and never, ever make up an answer. Honesty is expected by your audience above anything else. Deferring the question maintains clarity and trust by showing your commitment to accuracy. After paraphrasing the question and ensuring that you got it right, answer the question directly. For yes or no questions, give a clear yes or no response. For open-ended questions, provide a more concise response. Use prepared responses as needed. This gives the audience what they need up front, an answer to your question, not an explanation. Next, elaborate on your answer if necessary. After giving a direct response, further explanation or context may be required. To transition smoothly, use a phrase like, "let me explain," or "here's why." Supporting your answer with examples, data, and reasoning strengthens your argument. This elaboration can address doubts or concerns and show how your evidence supports your stance. Finally, confirm understanding. After giving that direct response and then elaborating on your answer if you need, check back in with the audience member to make sure they understood and address any follow-up questions. Show empathy and understanding towards the questioner and ask if the question has been adequately addressed. Did that answer your question? Does that make sense? This builds trust and encourages open-mindedness towards your perceptions and opinions. This framework will promote engagement with the audience, show respect and understanding, and allow you to maintain control of the framing of your discussion. To improve the comprehension of your statements, align with how the brain processes verbal information. The 7-word rule technique is useful for all presenters. Breaking down responses into smaller chunks keeps the audience engaged and allows for better understanding. This can help guide listeners through even the most complex ideas. To successfully use this technique, first identify the key points in your response, and then break them into segments of approximately 7 words. After you deliver each 7-word segment, pause briefly to give the audience time to absorb it. Observe any nonverbal cues from your audience to gauge their understanding. This technique may feel a bit awkward at first, but with a little practice, it will become second nature. More importantly, it will dramatically improve your ability to clearly and confidently relay information. For an example of the 7-word rule in practice, take the answer to a question about a company's annual growth. Our annual growth exceeded expectations we set for our company due to our expanded online presence and enhancements we made to our customer service function. While informative, it may be overwhelming for the audience to absorb all at once. Instead, let's try applying this 7-word technique for a more effective response. Our annual growth exceeded expectations. Our online presence played a big role in this success. We also improved customer service. By breaking down the response into smaller parts, we allow the audience time to understand and digest each piece before moving on to the next one. This technique not only improves the clarity of what we're saying, but it gives you, the speaker, the opportunity to assess your audience's reactions to your response on a more granular level. It also has the remarkable ability to leave the impression that you are in full control of your message. A rambling statement or response to an audience question kills your credibility. The 7-word rule elevates it. Incorporating this technique into your presentation can transform how you connect with your audience. It will not only make your message easier to grasp, but also more memorable and leave the impression that you are in full command of your content. Conclude the Q&A session in a manner that promotes further discussion. Thank the audience for their insightful questions and express how much you appreciated the engaging conversation. Encourage them to continue the dialogue, whether it be through email or social media. Provide your contact information and show your dedication to sharing valuable insights and keeping audience attendees engaged even after the presentation ends. Having the ability to handle questions is an essential skill when it comes to effectively presenting data stories. By setting expectations up front, predicting any potential concerns, and managing questions tactfully, you can transform audience questions into opportunities for deeper comprehension. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, take a moment and subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it with anyone who you think is interested in data analytics. Every single week, we are bringing new, exciting, and important videos on data analytics to this channel, and we would love to have you there for the journey. Be sure to check out the links in the description for additional ArtScience resources and sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive tips, course updates, and more directly in your inbox. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.